Hey guys, so today we're doing a new tutorial in After Effects, and basically what we're going to be doing is working with making really smooth transitions. And I see this a lot in edits where people they know how to make transitions, but they don't know how to make them smooth. Like the transition, it won't flow nicely. Other times there are like motion tile issues. The worst one is when you have those black lines, and that can really ruin a transition. So we're gonna learn how to get rid of that. Also, sometimes just the motion tile being repeated. We're gonna see if we can get rid of that. And there are 4 techniques I'm gonna show you. Each of these techniques are gonna make your edits a lot smoother. The transitions a lot nicer. So I think that's about it. Think we can jump right into the tutorial. Alright, hey guys, so the first technique I'm going to be showing you is really creating these black bars at the top and bottom of our clips. And really what this does is it allows us to hide any warping in the transition at the top and bottom. Really it's just really useful if you want to have a really clean edit. I know a lot of people use these black bars. And also you can have full control over these bars. You can bring them down and pull them up whenever you want. And the really great thing about the technique I'm going to show you is we can do this really simply with just one black solid at the top of our clip. And then from that black solid throughout your whole entire video, at any moment you can bring down the black bars or pull them up. It's a really great and useful effect, so this is the first thing we're going to be doing. So I think we can start by creating a new solid, just like that. My composition is set to 1280 by 720, just as a heads up. So we're going to create the solid, and then we're going to go to Effects and Presets and find the grid, which is built into After Effects. So under Generate Grid, this is the grid we're going to use. Drag and drop into our solid. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change corner point to height and width sliders. I'm going to set the height sliders to 720, which is the height of our composition, and the width to double the composition. So 1280, I want to put times 2, and we get 2560. So you can just type that in if you want. So depending if your composition is bigger than this, you might have to increase the values, but if your composition is smaller than this, then these values will still work. Anyway, so once we have this set up, we're just going to grab the anchor point, which should be right at the center of your composition, and we're just going to drag it off to the side. One second. Okay, so we're going to drag it actually right off the composition, and quite a bit actually off of the composition. Okay, just like that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit Invert Grid, and you can already see like sort of getting there. We have 2 bars perfectly symmetrical. Let's change the color to black, and then just pull up the border. So here we go, we've actually finished the effect. I just wanted to say that sometimes if you pull out the border a little bit and your anchor point is too close, you'll see that the effect actually comes off. So if that's ever the problem, just move over the anchor point and then you'll have the black bars. So right now I'm going to show you this really harsh transition that I have. Let me shut off the black solid. So I have this really just basic harsh transition that looks like this. And now we're going to try it with the black bars, and hopefully it looks a little bit better. Yeah, let me preview it one more time because I didn't have the blur activated. So it does look a little bit better. Anyway, so with the black bars, what's really great about this is I can just keyframe it right here. Hit U on your keyboard to see the keyframes. Then really easily I can just keyframe this at any point during the transition and have full control over how high I want it to go, stuff like that. So think 608 is actually good for starting and finishing. Then over here, when we have our transition, we can pull it in a little bit. Just get rid of all that warping that could have happened near the top. And if you want to make it look even better, we can always go easy ease those keyframes, jump into the graph editor. So let me just preview this. Let me just preview this first, 1 second. So already the transition looks a lot better. The easy ease actually looks pretty good. I don't think we need to play around with this too much. But I think I'm just going to drag this towards here a little bit. So we have it going slow, speeding up a little bit. Then the same thing here. Pull this in a little bit. So we have it going fast to a bit slower after. Anyway, I'm just going to preview this one more time. I think we've got the effect down pretty good. One more. Oops. So there you go. We have this black bar effect. It is really useful. And you have full control over it, so you can edit it whenever you want. It's a really good effect, so I recommend trying to use this in your edits. I hope you guys enjoyed, and think we're going to move on to technique number 2. Alright guys, so this is technique number 2, and over here what we're going to be doing is working with black solids and creating, well, it doesn't have to be black solids, but we're going to be working with solids and creating fades into the transition. So here we go, we have the transition right here, and you can see there is a ton of motion blur, and still there's warping around the sides. So I'm going to show you this pretty cool effect. It's really simple and really easy to use, just to make it look a little bit smoother. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new solid. And usually, most of the time it's set to black or white, so this time I think I'll stick with black. Then right over where the transition is, I'm going to cut down this layer, and then I'm going to hit T on the keyboard. So T as in turtle, or Tyrannosaurus Rex, whatever. Just going to set up some keyframes pretty quickly near the beginning, middle, and end of the transition. So then all we have to do is, at the beginning and end, we're going to set opacity to 0. And then as it comes in here, it doesn't have to be 100, but maybe like 75, somewhere around there. You see, what we actually do is, as the transition goes, it fades to dark and then it fades back out. So really what this does for transitions is, I use this actually quite a bit, just to really hide all the blur and all of this. At this point, it's at the darkest, it's a little bit harder to see, and then it fades back into light. So it is a really, really simple effect to use. You can use it with both dark solids and light solids. And really, it's just a great technique for hiding, motion tile, any of those problems. So make sure to try this out. Alright guys, it's time for our third technique. And in this video, we're going to be hiding the warping. We're going to be hiding the motion tile and all this blur, really bad stuff. We're going to be hiding that with lights. So this is used a lot in action edits. I see it where people have lights set up. You can really set it up anywhere. Just to hide the blur and all this motion tile, repeat, and stuff like that. So I'll show you guys how to do it. I know I said there would be 4, but I ended up running out of ideas. So I guess we're just going to do 3, but still should be enough ways to get some nice smooth transitions. So to do this, you need a light preset. You don't have to use optical flares, I know. There's Null Light Factory and a bunch of other lighting built into After Effects that you can use. But for this video, I will use optical flares just because it's really easy. Yeah, so first thing I'm going to do is create a new solid. Same as before, except this time I'm going to drag in optical flares. First thing we're going to do is change render mode to on transparent, sorry. And then I'm just going to jump into the options and really just pick out a preset because I have a ton of presets on this. So okay, I think I'm going to use this one. Hit the OK button. Boom. So you can position this anywhere, it doesn't really matter, but I think it looks pretty cool in the corner, so I'm going to set it up over there. And then I'm going to set keyframes for brightness. So I'm going to set them at 3 points. Set a keyframe at the beginning of your transition. Set a keyframe at the middle of your transition. And then set a keyframe near the end of the transition. Oops, my bad. Okay, right there. So after that, I'm going to head to the middle one. And then I'm just going to play around with this value until I get it to cover up a lot of this blur, repeat, sort of border stuff. So maybe I'll set this to 200, see how it looks. Maybe a little bit more. No, I think I'll just try 300. Okay, so at 300, you can't see anything. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to go over here. It actually looked pretty cool. Anyway, I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. And around at this end. Bring it down a little bit too. You can always cut the layer if you don't want it taking up too much space. If you are going to cut it though, you probably want to set the brightness at 0 at both ends. But this is good for now. I think we can preview through and see how it looks. 1 second. I'm going to preview it. So you see the light comes in. It really blocks a bunch of the motion tile garbage that you're going to see. All that warping and stuff. But it doesn't look as smooth as it could. So that's the next thing we're going to be working on. To get it looking a little bit more smooth, highlight them all. You can hit F9, which is the shortcut, but for some reason it doesn't work on mine. I think I need to hit like FN, F9 or something like that. Anyway, I'm just going to do it manually. Easy ease. Open up our keyframe editor. And so what we want the keyframes to do is we want it to go slow. We want it to pick up near the middle. And then we want it to go fast again here and then slow here. So to do that, what I'm going to do is pull this in here. Pull this in here. So right now it's going slow, slow. It's picking up speed around here. And then over here, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull this in. Pull this out a little bit. So this should be pretty good. I'm going to preview it one more time. So here we go. You can realize that now when I'm previewing this transition, you can see that there is no or very little warping that you can actually notice as it goes through because it's all hidden. And it fades in and fades out pretty nicely. So this is another effect you can use. Other ways to get your transitions looking a little bit better is always adding a little bit of shake. Sapphire Shake is a really good plugin just for getting that sort of smooth sort of zoom for the zoom in, zoom out. Alright guys, so that was the 3 techniques that I had to hopefully improve your transitions. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, and I'll be uploading a little bit more, so stay tuned. Thank you.